What's up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Teachers After Dark. Today is just me and Nikki.
Yes, the duo, the
Oh,
dynamic
the
duo.
dynamic duo. Listen, Nikki, we got a story. We were talking about it today, and a little bit yesterday, but I feel like we need to give this situation some special attention. And we talk about this often, but do you ever notice how when a white woman in leadership, especially educational leadership, I'm gonna keep harping on educational leadership, has like some type of mental breakdown, the world stops.
Absolutely. And we all, oh my gosh,
This
this is,
poor thing.
this is a shame. Where's the GoFundMe? She needs support. Where's her
Yes,
family? What
yes,
can I do to help?
yes.
Let's send an all district email to rally the troops and let's support her because
Mm.
times are just so tough for Sarah Beth right now.
Sarah Beth.
She's just, guys, she needs us. She needs her village. Emily, Alice, Rebecca, where are you? Because Sarah Beth, Keisha, we need you to help Sarah Beth.
Keisha, you gonna cook the food. Keisha, you gonna start the meal trains.
Keisha, you're just so good at orchestrating and getting the people together and serving.
Serving.
I digress.
But when it's Keisha that has this breakdown, suddenly is she unfit?
Is Keisha on drugs?
Is she on drugs? Is she
Because
drunk?
why she? Oh,
And she needs to be replaced. We need to move her. She's unfit. She's unprofessional.
Keisha was unqualified.
She was unqualified.
A DEI.
Oh, hello. Hello. I think that double standard is one of the biggest reasons why so many Black women in education are drowning in silence, are suffering in silence. But before we get into this story about Miss Stephanie Williams, I want to talk about some numbers. I'm going to read to you. I'm a numbers girl. Okay. I'm a CDC girl. You know, my degree is in public health from the University of Houston. I am a numbers girl. All right. So, according to the CDC, based America's health rankings, nearly 23% of Black women ages 18 to 44 reported that their mental health was not good for 14 or more days in the past 30 days.
Wow.
Can you relate?
That's the working woman statistics. I mean, like that's the working woman age
Mm-hmm.
range. Okay.
All right. Here's another one. In one study of Black women who have mood, anxiety, or substance disorders, 47% used both professional services and informal support. 14% used only professional services, 2% used only informal support, but 16% did not seek help at all. That means 1 in 6 are not getting any help at all. One more before we move on. Another study of Black women showed that while many are open to seeking help for depression, younger age, privacy, stigma, and cultural appropriateness of care are huge barriers.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's a whole, I feel like that can be a whole nother
Episode in
in
itself.
itself. Because y'all know I'm like rah rah all day. I can find a way to say that it is the man's fault all day, every day.
The man.
Everything. I'm going to root it back to race. But then sometimes we got to take a look at our own community. And I would think about like, why are these women silent? And what I was really shocked about is your statistic that said seeking informal help. Because informal, I look at that as your village, that's your friend group. Hey, I'm gonna call my mama and vent to my mom. I'm gonna call my sister, my group, your little group chat, that little group chat. And so for me myself,
Tatiana.
I feel
Tatiana.
Tatiana. For me myself, I feel very open in my little group chat.
Very.
My circle, like I feel like I can say, bitch, I am drowning. And I feel that I get uplifted like, hey, girl, we gonna do this. Hey, this is what you need to do. Hey, go drop a kid off here. Go do that. Yeah. So now we got to think about why other Black women won't even use that informal support. And then we got to look at it's our own people that be like, girl, it ain't nothing wrong with you. You need to pray. Pray to the Lord.
Go to church.
You ain't got enough faith. That's
you ain't
the problem.
tithing. If you gave your 10%, you would. Girl, let's stop. Let's move on. All right. So when we get into the story about Miss Stephanie Williams, and we're gonna talk about her in a second, we are talking about something that is happening against all of these numbers. Loads of Black women, especially in educational leadership, are suffering quietly. They're afraid and they are without support. I do want to give a disclaimer before we get into the story of Miss Stephanie Williams, though. I want to say that we know that this conversation can apply to any Black woman in leadership position in any industry, right? Or even if they're not in a leadership role, we know that this can apply to any Black woman that's dealing with mental health issues. But because we are a teacher podcast, we are going to today specifically talk about educators and educational leaders. So let's get into what happened. All right. So Stephanie Williams had only been a principal at Harrison-Morton Middle School for a few months. According to some of the stories we were sharing earlier, she's a third principal of this school this year. So that already tells you.
This year, the third principal.
It's October the 6th, bitch.
So that lets us know the shit show she's walking
into. All right. So some background on her. She's got over 15 years in education. She has a master's degree in special education from Chestnut Hill College, a bachelor's degree from Mount Holyoke, and she was a Philadelphia School Leader Program Fellow. So one Saturday in middle of September, she had the incident.
Wait, just so the people can know, we said all that to say Sis is credentialed.
Sis is very credentialed.
Sis has the education. She is not a
overqualified
hire. She's overqualified.
Overqualified. All right. So you guys may have seen some of the videos pop up of Stephanie at Bucky Boyle Park in Allentown. People saw her laughing, dancing, and kind of a little disoriented, rolling on the ground, interacting with kids, and refusing to leave the park basically when police were called and they asked her to leave. Eventually, she was cited for disorderly conduct and criminal mischief after she was arrested, handcuffed, and put in the back of the police car in front of her child. And she allegedly kicked out a window in a patrol car. The Allentown School District placed her on leave. I think maybe a couple of days after they placed her on leave, she went ahead and resigned. She used up some of her PTO while she was under, I guess, the investigation. I hate that term, investigation, that they put us under. But girl, social media drug her. Drug her. All right. This morning I'm on TikTok, I'm scrolling. Of course, wait, let me go back to the social media comments. Like we said earlier, on drugs.
She on drugs.
She on that shit. She drunk. She crazy. She losing her mind. None of the, oh, God.
Nobody's coming for support.
Nobody
is saying
Nobody.
everything that they would say for Sarah.
Yeah. Now, it was a lot of people like, oh shit, that's my principal, or that's my former principal. And some, I saw a couple of her teachers that were like, something's not right, like she's not like this is not normal behavior for her. So thank God for those people that were coming in the comment section trying to be supportive. But this morning I'm scrolling, getting ready for work, putting my little glue on my wig, getting ready, and I'm scrolling TikTok as I'm getting ready, and I see a video, and it's this lady, and she's like, hey, my name is Stephanie Williams, and you may have seen me because I went viral, da da da. And I'm stopping like, oh shit,
It's that lady.
this is her, right? So her video is like 4 minutes long. It's such a beautiful video. But in short, she comes forward and she says, what you saw was the result of my disability. She basically goes on to reveal that she lives with bipolar disorder, and that what was captured was a manic episode that was triggered by, here we go, stress, burnout, and major life changes. Now, before we move on, let's talk about major life changes, because we already know the stress, and we already know the burnout that comes with being educators, Black women in education. The major life changes, that's that stuff that we don't get to come to work and talk about, right? Exactly. Now, her major life change could have been uh getting thrown into this new school, right? All of a sudden having to turn it around. And we know that's a shit show in itself. But the things that we can't come to work and talk about, and you and I have been very open about marriage and things like that. I came to work through a whole separation and divorce and nobody knew. You came to work pregnant going through a divorce and nobody knew, right? So while I am dealing with the stress of having 151 kids and grades I got to put in and essays I got to score and all this other shit that comes with it, real life is going on. And if I broke, nobody would even know that I was dealing with these major life changes. She goes on to deny that there were rumors of drug use. Of course, she denies that. She talked about her mother, who this touched me. She talked about her mother who also had bipolar disorder and died by suicide at the age of 46 while she was in her 20s. Bitch, I'm 43. If my mama checked out, I'm going with her. I don't know what I would do. So I could not imagine being 20 something, still needing to navigate life, children, my own, and not having my mom, and to have my mom leave me in that way. And then she says this: as a Black woman, my vulnerability wasn't just questioned, it was turned into entertainment. Yep. That shit was heavy. It was heavy. And I think one of the most disturbing things to me about listening to her talk was the fact that she had to self disclose. Right. Because she was being drugged on the internet. She had been arrested. She had been placed on leave by her job. The very people that should have been supporting her. Because these are the very same, and I like how she started it off by saying, my disability. My disability. Because I work in this education platform, and I know how y'all want me to respect disabilities for children. Hold on. And how you would have a problem if your child's diagnosis was made public. And she even said that. She said, many of us have this issue, but we don't talk about it. You don't know who it is sitting next to you who may suffer from something, but I gotta tell mine because y'all calling me basically a crackhead. A crackhead, and that's what they were calling her. She on that, she churn, she water. I mean, I saw the most disgusting things, and it's really messed up that she felt like she had to resign. Her district should have been supportive of her. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that because that just triggering for me. Oh, anyway, let me stop. So this is what people often don't see. And I talk about this, I be pissing people off when I say this, but the white women in similar positions, we talked about that, often get so much empathy, support, grace when they mess up. The narrative always leans towards, oh, it's understandable. She has a lot on her plate. It's so much going on. And then, I'm finna get shady in a minute. They'll fuck around and get a damn Principal of the Year award. Oh, okay. Because she navigated so much during adversity, perseverance. Oh, they love that word. They love that word. But the Black woman that would have, and when that issue that we're specifically speaking of in a situation close to us, we said immediately, bro, had that been any Black leader that had pulled that stunt that lady that we're talking specifically pulled, man, heads would have rolled. The narrative would have been unstable, like we said, unprofessional, not fit, drugs, drunk, etc. I mean, we can even think about like in so many districts where administrators spaz out and start sending school-wide emails, like tell about their personal life, and nobody ever steps in and say, hey, we need you to log out and go home for a couple of days. Anyway, we treat it as though nothing is nothing. Y'all tripping. She was vulnerable. She was sharing a vulnerable moment with y'all. Anyway, but we it goes back to us being held to a much higher standard while being given much less room to be human. And that's the thing. Let's go back to some more numbers. I love numbers. Let's talk about some reality checks when it comes to Black women education and mental health. Um, from a teacher survey from the state of the American Teacher Survey, Black teachers reported higher rates of burnout than their white peers, 59% versus 53%, not too far off, and more symptoms of depression, 25% versus their 18%. In that same survey, it found that Black teachers had a greater intent to leave their jobs, 28%, compared to white colleagues, 14%. In mental health help seeking behavior, Black women are less likely to initially seek professional psychological services. We talked about earlier the stigma, the cultural norms, including that strong Black woman trope. Yep. Oh, and then distrust. Distrust. And another study found that Black women educators report higher burnout when their school district systems are not open to racial conflict, meaning that their emotional load isn't just work stress, it's linked to systemic silencing. And baby,
I want to say
that
so much,
fucking triggered
but
me. But I know we got the ops listening. They're
yes.
specifically listening to me so they can find more things to plant and to put in my file. But I
Jeez,
will
I'm
say this,
itching
you're
now.
itching. Being silenced is stressful than a motherfucker, especially when you know some shit and motherfuckers know you know some shit. It is stressful. And let me make a disclaimer here because this is going on the Teachers After Dark podcast. But because I think this topic is so important and needs to be discussed, I think we need to put it on a regular podcast too. And the people on the regular podcast do not listen to us curse. So they are going to get a taste of the truly authentic,
Okay.
unfiltered us from Teachers
Okay.
After Dark. So my people that are listening on the Ridgemont Forest Finest, the podcast, you are getting a taste of Teachers After Dark, and we don't mute in
Yeah,
silence
not at all.
ourselves over
Not
here.
at all.
All right. But
You know,
systemic silencing, bro.
because this is just, it's making me itch thinking about my own experiences with my children and how I'm navigating this teacher versus advocate for my child, versus bitch, you playing with me because I know what you're supposed to be doing versus, oh, but let me still be professional. Let me not take it all the way there because,
then I'm gonna be viewed as the angry black woman that goes
right.
there. And
Well, she popping off.
And you know me, bitch. I'm gonna pop off,
y'all, because when she popped,
I'm gonna pop. I had to pop on the AP. Let me hush. I had to pop on the AP. Like, oh, I'm sorry. You don't know me. You're new. But allow me to introduce
myself.
Because you got me fucked up. You got me fucked up.
But I just wish that y'all could just have we could have a personal mic attached to her at all times so that y'all can hear how sis goes. Like she will turn it off and on, off and on. Like, how is you cool?
How is you cool?
Don't you ever call my mother? How
is you cool? What's wrong with you? And oh, girl, let me be quiet because people tell me I can't talk about them people. Because I'm getting mad because I'm thinking of some shit that you was on the phone, you was in the room with me, so you got to hear the foolishness. But anyway, let's get back to talking about it is okay, guys, to seek help and to medicate if needed. Medication, the stigma that comes with medication, the stigma that comes with medication. This is one of the most important parts. You are allowed, and I have to use the word allowed because we don't allow ourselves, okay? You are allowed to seek help, and that is the full stop end of the fucking sentence. Yeah. You are allowed to seek help. And even if it's emotionally, mentally, physical, go get help, even if it means therapy, even if it means medication. Medication is not a weakness. We joke, but it don't be joking. Cause I had to tell you, vulnerable mom, hey, let me tell you what I got. Go get on this shit. You wildin', go get on this shit. Yeah. Go get this shit. Yeah. And even therapy is not a last result. Those are things that my therapist tells me they're tools, right? They're tools that we have, just like rest is a tool, right. Setting boundaries is a tool, saying fucking no is a tool, clocking out, closing up the laptop, closing scoured is a tool. Yep. Not responding to parents on the weekend is a tool. Not responding. Then we just get a group chat talking about what grade are we putting in, bitches? 7:00. Answering that's a boundary. That's a tool, though, right? Mm-hmm. Because now if I got engaged, I looked at my phone. Why do I have 28 text messages? What the fuck y'all talking about? I don't care about this. But if I allowed myself to get involved in that conversation, which personally I disagree with, I'm gonna stress myself out. I'm at home. Baby, whatever y'all want to do, y'all do it. Y'all have. And thank you to that 50 to 100 milligrams of sertraline that I'm like, oh shit, that's what y'all talking about? Oh, okay. Anyway, I ignored it like it didn't even happen. Another study. Okay. All right. In studies, Black women do show favorable attitudes towards professional mental health services, especially if the provider is culturally competent and the setting feels safe. I want to give a huge shout out right now to Imperium Psychiatric Group in Katy, Texas. They are not sponsoring this episode at all. But I just got to say, this is a psychiatric group full of sisters. I think it's like 7 of them. They're a group of traveling, they're Black women. They are all psychiatric professionals. They offer virtual visits, televisits, in-office visits, same day visits. Nice. They are amazing. This group of ladies is amazing. So I use them. And when we could absolutely tag them. I have appointments every other Friday at noon, bitch, on my lunch break. That's the time I looked at that schedule and I said, and they log in promptly. And the lady that I talked to, she just listens. She knows my host. She knows everything going on with me in the school system. And she listens and she listens and she listens. And she be wanting to say, oh, that's some bullshit. Like, she really listens. But I love this group of women, and I'm so glad that I found that they existed. And they take our insurance. Can you believe that? Because we got the raggediest insurance in the state of Texas. Oh wow. Also, telehealth voice or video calls are often preferred modes when we are accessing mental health services, because these can lower the barriers, that stigma that we face. And of course, for me, it's convenience, right? I'm on my lunch break, my 30-minute duty free. I have to emphasize that because the haters, the opposites listening. My 30-minute duty free lunch break where I can go sit in my car and have a televisit and just check in and talk. Yeah. And even my the lady that I talked to, she was like, hey, even like if you just need to, here's the bat line that you can text, or here's this. It doesn't have to be you. You can just give me a check-in, let me know you good, right? So I love that they are creating this space for other Black women. And not today to say they just serve Black women, right, but who wouldn't feel comfortable?
But wait, because since you like numbers and you like statistics, I don't have the exact statistics, but I have read numerous studies that even show that all students learn better when they have a Black teacher. And that goes for even in healthcare, your service better by a person of color. But I digress.
We digress. Anyway. 4% of psychologists in the U.S. are Black. 2% of psychiatrists in the U.S. are Black. That means that hurts. That culturally safe providers are scarce as the hell. Scarce as the hell. But we go back to talking about burying your pain and pushing through because somebody tells us, or people always tell us, society tells us, be strong, you got this. Medicine makes you less spiritually or less professionally capable, and dog, we gotta push back from that. I joke, but it don't be joking. And I say, listen, baby, when I take that little magic pill, the fucking building could be on fire. And I'm gonna be like, damn, that's crazy.
Did y'all call them people?
Yeah, people, what y'all running for? Just chill. Just chill more. And it was described to me when I was, because I was one of those people like, I ain't weak. I ain't taking no medicine. I'm not doing that. Da, da, da. But it was described to me as, imagine having on full metal armor and somebody is throwing rocks and pebbles at you. Do you feel that shit? No, ping, ping, ping. And I can honestly say that that's exactly what it feels like. It does not, it doesn't fuck with my ability to be a parent. It doesn't fuck with my ability to be a teacher. It doesn't fuck with my ability to be a freak. So things that women often worry about when they're talking about medications that they're putting in their bodies, right? If anything, it's gonna relax my mind so I can, have a little bit of fun. But I want us to break away from that stigma. But going back to Miss Stephanie Williams, because she is not exceptional at all in the sense of suffering alone. She is like so many of us. But I just hate again that she was just exposed this way, that she was exposed.
Pain was used as entertainment.
Man, I hate that. I hate that.
And let's talk about the fact of how the arrests even happened. When you said she was arrested in front of her child, and even that bothers me because I've witnessed how officers choose to handle certain situations. When there are children present, and I just think about, it didn't have to be like that. That you now put my child in this predicament where they see me helpless now being arrested, and now how does that even go? Your child has to ride to the police station, wait for somebody to come. If they don't come from a certain amount of time, CPS gets it. Like, you just opened up a whole can of worms that did not need to be. She just needed support.
She needed support. Oh God. By people that are trained. And y'all, I tell people, one of my favorite things to do at night is rub my feet together in my bed and watch police body cam videos. And it is so very disgusting. Like, you can see the bias in the treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Even, where we're talking about getting pulled over for a ticket and arguing with a ticket, getting pulled out of restaurants drunk and out of your, like, literally drunk and out of your mind. Shoplifters. Oh my God, I love to watch the shoplifting videos, but just how they treat the white women versus the black women, right? And it's the same thing. But her disclosing her bipolar disorder, man, it's the bravest thing ever, especially on social media, in that space where so many black women never tell anybody the shit that they got going on. I think you may catch a few people on TikTok, Instagram that are making their mental health trendy. They're making their mental health thing cool. They're doing it for likes, clicks, and views, right? We saw a trend where everybody was all of a sudden diagnosing themselves as neurodivergent and autistic and all kinds of things like that.
Oh, walk on my tiptoes. I've been autistic. Oh my gosh.
I can hear the beats of a song. I'm like, come on, y'all tripping. But when you do expose yourself, you risk judgment, you risk your job, you risk being labeled as that person, right? So who wants to do that? But nobody ever took into account the fact that this lady was stressed out, burnt out, exhausted as fuck. And these are all things that studies show consistently hit black women in education the hardest. The numbers, go back to the numbers: 59% burnout, 28% intent to quit. They are not hypothetical ass numbers. They real ass numbers. And they are showing what we live through every single day. Every single day I get up that alarm, I go off and I be like, fuck. I gotta do this shit again. It's like, y'all watch Black Mirror. It's like that episode of Black Mirror, and you wake up, the alarm go off, and it's the same routine every single day. And especially, we talk about the Sunday scaries. Man, we gotta talk about the manic Mondays when I get to work on Monday because I don't plug in to everybody. Know, don't district nothing me after 4:30 on a Friday. I will get back with you Monday morning at 8 o'clock. But the first thing I do, I go to work, unlock my door, sit down, go brew me a cup of coffee, and I go to the Gmail because I just know it's some bullshit waiting for me.
It is. And even on one of your numbers, when you talked about the intent to leave the profession and the percentage of burnout compared to white counterparts. And I think about that because people will be like, well, how y'all work in the same place and one person feels more stressed? And we have to look at how many times we are expected to be the savior. So when, Miss Sarah cannot handle her classroom, then Miss Keisha, can you go help Sarah because you have really good relationships with the kids. So okay, so they just can't get along. So we're gonna move this kid into your class. So now your kid becomes your class becomes a class with all of the behavior issues because Sarah Beth couldn't handle it. But yet she gets to keep her job, her teacher contract, and
and what do we have? We have this arbitrary no fly list. Bitch, the no fly list. Oh, bitch, I want to fight the air thinking about it. Because everybody on the no fly list in my motherfucking classroom. God damn it, how the hell that happened, right? I had a parent meeting today, and I'm walking down the hall with the dad, and the dad says, "Is my daughter driving you crazy yet?" And I look back. I said, "She'll drive you crazy before she drive me crazy." Because, in full transparency, this is a kid that everybody is like, oh, da, da. And I said, drive who crazy? She ain't gonna drive me crazy. She gonna drive your ass crazy. Right. She know not to play with me. But that whole vibe, that attitude, that aura that we have about us as, I think, black mamas, right? Yeah. Is just what, I don't have no behavior problems. Nobody can ever say I got a behavior problem. Miss Smith don't have no behavior problems. So I was funny. This kid was, I had turned my back and did something. All of a sudden I see this little blue shit in the ceiling. And come to find out, they had taken the post-it notes that they're supposed to be using to mark their book in the novel that we're fucking reading and made these little sharp ass little darts. And it's throwing it up and then it's landing in the ceiling, right? And so I turned, I found out it was one little kid. I looked, I saw that's your ass that's doing that. I didn't say ass for the opposite listening. Right. But I said, give me that. And he cocked his hand back like he was trying to throw it at me. So, and I said, boy, I wish you would, boy, I wish you would. And he stopped. I said, class, How many of y'all throw something at your mama when she say, hand me something? And they all look like, my mama knocked my teeth out. And I said, see, I know y'all ain't got no black mamas in your house. Boy, that's a cardinal sin. I wish you would. He got up and walked over to me and handed it to me. And I said, you know what? Nobody talking to you crazy. You are allowed to behave the way you behave, but all I had to do, I wish you would. And he was like, oh, my bad. I thought it was normal. I said, that's not normal. And if your mama let you throw shit at her, don't do it. Don't do it again. The fuck? What do you mean? Normal. That's not normal. We don't do that. All the black kids was looking like, oh, you tripping, bro. Like
that's like answering your mama, what?
Who you talking to? Who you talking to? And I find myself in so many times dealing with, because we teach at a very, very diverse, diverse as hell school district and campus, and it's so funny when kids from other cultures respond to you or say something, do something, and the black kids turn their head like, oh shit.
That is some funny bullshit. But they like, because I can't do that at my house.
Or they'll check it before you open your mouth. Well, you don't do that. Girl, you don't. That ain't what. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Like
that reminds me of this one time when my favorite math teacher witnessed me spaz out on a kid who walked out of class to do something inappropriate and interrupt my conversation. And I walked back into class and everybody was like, we told her that was a bad idea. We told her to sit down. The whole class told her. And she got up because I was like, baby, who raised you? You.
raising you.
And I just really thought that was hilarious. That my whole little blackity black class was like, "Oh hell no, we knew that was a bad idea."
Oh, you tripping? It's so funny. Like I love them because even since then, I get a whole different child out that kid. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Like,
they don't even say that shit at home.
Oh, what? What the fuck do you want, mom? You got you some damn sense. Anyway, going back to Miss Stephanie Williams, we all off topic.
I'm so sorry, Miss Stephanie, because
you deserve this. I'm sorry, we had to bring a little humor to this, but going back to the fact that help is not available until the crisis is visible. She had to have a visible public breakdown before now people are saying, "Hey, now we need to get her some help."
But wait, you said the help was not available until she had a public visible breakdown. The help still wasn't available because the district kept on. So they still haven't done their part.
So let's get into that. Let's talk about what we need, like as far as change, because this is something that I feel I'm so glad that she has created this. She said she's gonna tell her own story. She's not gonna let y'all create this narrative. So she let me create it and make it go how I want it to go. And so she's like, I'm gonna journal and journey and tell my story, and I'm going to take the stigma away from Black women talking about their mental health disabilities. And so now follow me as I heal, right? Or as I learn to deal with this disorder. And I love that because we need that space. Of all the things that we all need districts, school policies that protect mental health disclosure. We need to ensure that seeking help doesn't mean that this person loses power, they lose respect, they lose their position.
Right.
You should not lose your position because some other people didn't lose their positions. Okay. When we go back to talking about providing accessible mental health support for leaderships, our school leaders, therapy, peer support, coaching, and we're not talking about that employee assisted shit, but when we go back to coaching, it got to be coaching that's not tied to all the nepotism and the mess and the bureaucratic bullshit that a lot of these school districts have. Because how if I know you a messy ass school exec admin, but you're the coach, you're the person I'm supposed to go to and talk about things that are helping or hurting me, when you're going to turn around and you're going to use it against me in the next district leadership meeting, or you're going to use it against me in my next leadership appraisal, my appraisal. We need to normalize medication as being one of the many valid responses to mental health crisis. We go back to, like you said earlier, talking about accommodations and kids with disabilities and why can't we do that? Why can't we have those accommodations? And we can, they are allowed because of the Americans with Disabilities Act. But imagine I'm a school leader, but hey, I have bipolar too. Oh no, we
Oh yeah,
can't
they not
have
gonna
you.
let you
We're
in the
not gonna
door.
hire you if I disclose that. So we need to do something about that. And then my favorite thing to say, some school leaders hate when I say this, culturally competent care. All right, like black mental health professionals, black school counselors, black therapists, black SEL counselors who understand racial trauma in settings where we feel unseen, unheard, unjudged.
And I always think it's so interesting how much we're used. Like we can get hired, but we will never have the support available. And I think about that even for the kids. Of course, certain campuses that we both have worked at have been very diverse. So children have accessible people to them.
Fact.
You can find a tribe for yourself within this diverse care category. But what about the kids who they are predominantly, I'm gonna just say black and Hispanic, but then their leadership and their staff at their school looks nothing like them.
Oof.
Where is the support? And I think that and this is not tied down to one district in specific. This is a multitude. Like, how do you expect these children to thrive, to flourish, when you don't have any representation around them? And then with a lot of these schools, whew, they will label these schools as like behavior schools.
Yes.
When really they're not behavior schools, but your district has been slapped on the hand so many times for having, inconsistent write-ups, for all types of things. There have been complaints. And so now you're scared to implement any disciplinary measures. So the school is running haywire because now anytime you do something, a parent is like, that's racist because we know your history. But if you had leadership that looked like the kids that it serves, we would be able to do so much more. I get so tired of schools being labeled at, oh, that's a ghetto school, that's a bad school. But then I go look at and I'm like, I see where the problem lies. I mean, because there was one place that I believe we encountered before that it was like, oh, that school is horrible, they need help. And going into those halls, it was like, what are you talking about?
What the hell?
These children are perfectly fine.
These are some community gated community gangsters.
I don't understand.
I fucking love it here.
This has been a vacation.
Sit your ass down in that seat. Who you talking to? It was great. But those schools had white male leaders who leaned so heavily.
And that goes back to my point, which, my deepest apologies for the allies who are white women on the podcast. I don't lump all of you together. However, that's just my disclaimer. She's rolling her eyes. However, I will say this. I find it easier to navigate spaces with white men when they're solo versus dealing with white women. Now, if the white man is attached to the white woman, he's going to rock with her and he's going to not listen to anything I have to say. But if I can catch him by himself, he listens and he supports the vision and you got this, girl.
Shout out to one of the greatest white male administrators ever. I can't say his name.
Oh, yeah.
Love him down so bad.
Yeah.
Love him down so bad. When I tell you he gonna listen and he whatever you got, whatever you need, whatever, because he know at the end, we making your life easy peasy over here. Easy peasy. Hey man, can you go talk to your
thank you, Matthew McConaughey, because that's what I used to call him. Thank you, Matthew McConaughey. Y'all, it's not the real one, but that's my nickname for him. Thank you, Matthew McConaughey. You were a great leader. Absolutely.
When the breeze in the summertime.
That had the smooth little talking voice too, and doesn't act like a stranger.
Never does. I think you got a little affliction for chocolate though.
Yeah, you do. You dabbled back in your college.
No, you can say that publicly because I don't know. They may slap his hand. But wait, looking up and down.
Dabbled a little bit.
I look at Chelsea opinion. But anyway, we talk about peer support. Community and peer support is so very important. Talking to other Black women who are leaders, mentors, and trusted friends. We talk about the little group chat, y'all. The group chat holds me the fuck down. Ooh.
We tell you that group chat can go popping off at 4:00 in the morning.
The group chat makes you feel like I am sane. I am normal. This is okay. But let's close this out because I promise I know I need to get you home. It's late and I just knew we had to knock this out today. But I do want to make this shout out, right, to every Black female leader in education listening. If you're an educator, administrator, principal, teacher, whatever you're leading up to be, please know that you are not alone in your struggle. You do not have to be silent in your struggle. Your feelings are valid. We know that the weight you carry is heavy. We know that it's real. Even going back to talking about blood pressure, we had an issue with a couple of administrative leaders in some schools that we worked at in other districts, and you getting taken away from there in ambulances because your blood pressure shooting through the roof, and you're not getting the same support as the white person that was there before you got, and you are stressing out. You cannot, these people will kill you. And trying to be strong all the time, it does not look like strength. Okay? Now it might look like strength to you, but strength without some real rest and some breaks, man, you gonna crack. You are going to crack. And if you need help, a therapist, medication, rest, boundaries, that is not failing. You are not a failure. That is being smart. Yep. That's survival. Mm-hmm. You are surviving. You're not drowning.
Utilizing your resources.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. And to Miss Stephanie Williams, like this one moment, this one episode, I hate that they even call episodes, does not define you. It does not define your journey of healing and wellness in your role as a leader. Like you still, I hate that you resigned because you still are such a valuable person and a valuable leader, and people, kids, other teachers that look like us need you. Yes, her story is painful, but it's a wake up call, I think, for all of us.
It is. And also, I'm going to tie it into the kids too. Your story is going to reach some child to let them know that, their disability does not define them either. Because, sister, you have done some amazing things, and we are not going to negate that. And so you are an inspiration to the students that you serve.
And going back to a couple of episodes that we've done, even on Teachers After Dark when we talk about mental health, but I know we've done 2 episodes on Ridgemont Forest Finance, the podcast, probably like season 1, where we talk about mental health in Black girls. And the same weight and title and burden we put on Black women in education and how we want them to be strong and how they can handle this and they can handle that is the same shit we put on these teenage girls and these little girls when they walk in a building. It's the, what was the study? You're the historian, where like how much pain can Black people tolerate? And I feel like that's what they do to our Black kids in these school systems, right? And even, I've been very vocal about having a fight for my own daughter and advocate for mental health in Black girls and say, hey, no, y'all need to roll out the red carpet for these Black girls with stress and anxiety disorders and panic attacks and PTSD from traumas that they've experienced, just like we see y'all roll it out for other people. And like you said earlier, I sit in the meetings. I know what y'all can do. So don't play with me when it comes to mine. Because now I got to set this
set it off.
And then, right? And now I'm the angry Black woman. It's the mom, everybody hates you at the school. Fuck them people. They gonna be all right. They gonna be all right. You ain't gonna play with mine though. And we need to stop playing. And that's the thing, I think, when I make all my videos is being so vocal, telling y'all they playing with y'all kids up here. They playing with y'all kids. Stop making an enemy out of me. I'm not your enemy. I am the one safe space in that building that when them people play with your kids know they could come to me. Or if you need, hey, say they playing with your kid. Hey, I need you to say da 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 da.
Y'all stop making an enemy out of your kids' teachers.
We not the enemy. We here fighting, and if y'all send all of us home, I tell y'all all the time, y'all gonna be left with. Anyway, we gonna wrap this up because see, I'm gonna get in trouble, and people already told me, girl, I be triggered.
So to say, y'all gonna be left with
triggered. All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up. Shout out to Miss Stephanie Williams. We are praying for your healing. We are so excited to be a part of your journey. I just followed you on social media. I'm gonna share everything you put out, sis. So please, whatever I can do to amplify your voice and amplify your mission, your vision that you have to make a safe space for Black women in educational leadership who are suffering in silence to allow them to not suffer in silence anymore. We here at the Teachers After Dark podcast and Ridgemont Forest Finance the podcast are down. We're down for it.
And y'all tag her because I would love for her to come on the podcast.
Oh my God, man! I'm gonna try to reach out to her
So
tonight.
y'all flood the comments. Tag Miss Stephanie Williams.
Please. We're gonna try to do that. So let me let you get back home and be a mom.
All right, football calls.
Football calls. You gotta pick your kid up from football. Thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Teachers After Dark and a joint Reach on Forest Miners. See y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.